Hey, Peter.
Hey, what's up?
What are you thinking?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Are you crazy?
Well, crazy like a fox, I hope, but
I heard a rumor
Yes.
that you're going to record an album in one take with musicians that have not played together before on YouTube live.
yes, partially true.
That's insane. That's,
Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's an intervention is what it is. I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Music advice coming at you.
Coming at you today, sponsored by Open Studio. Go to Open Studio Jazz for your jazz lesson needs.
Yes.
Gotta get that vocal warm up in.
That's very good. Me.
It's always about you.
That's right.
It's always about you.
We have some musical and friend and Open Studio royalty in the house. You cannot see him, but Max Gamise, who's got a little bit of fame and fortune in the world here,
does,
is actually in the room with us. So we're a little nervous today,
but
we're super excited.
All the way from Durango, Mexico.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. He is in the house at Open Studio HQ. It's been very exciting.
Yeah.
And we've got some cool stuff that we've been doing that we're going to talk about maybe in the next episode.
Okay.
But today, I want to, I was feeling good about this. Then you got me a little bit nervous with this crazy man talk.
Well,
so let's break this down. Let's do the interventions, but I want to come out of this feeling even better. So let's do some splaining.
First of all, take your shoes off and put them in the corner, just so you can't run while we're intervening. And there's a car waiting outside. So.
That's right.
So I'm very excited because you're about to record your first album as a leader in a few years.
Yeah, like 7 years.
Your last album was in like 2017, right? 2016?
So. Yeah.
I should know. I played a little guitar on it.
You played on it,
really
yeah.
fun, yeah.
And you're going to be super involved with this one, so.
I hope to be. We'll see if I can hang on this one. There's some heavy hitters happening. So it's a quartet album.
Quartet.
And you want to tell the folks who you got in your quartet?
Yes. Gregory Hutchinson on drums.
Ever heard of him?
Ever our friend and compatriot. Ruben Rogers on bass.
Yeah.
Sarah Hanahan on saxophone. And I just wanted to say a little bit about each of them. Probably many of you know all of them, but you may not know Sarah as much because she's pretty young and it's relatively fresh on the scene.
She's so burning, though.
She's so burning, and she is known already because she's been firing up the New York scene and beyond.
Sick.
An amazing alto player. I've never really played with her. I mean, we played together just a little bit, but never like a gig or a recording.
Yeah.
But when I first heard her, which was at the Betty Carter Jazz Ahead program run by Jason Moran and the good folks at the Kennedy Center there about 3 years ago, as soon as I heard her, I was like, okay, I want to create something that includes her. Like she had that kind of musical magnetism. She's super cool too. I got to know her a little bit. That's like a bonus. But like her playing, it's just, she plays in a way that is so exciting for the listener, but for me as a musician. And so I'm really kind of excited to bring her into the fold with Greg and Ruben, who I have played with a whole lot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of my thought process of putting this group together. It's called Generation S, by the way.
Love that name.
Also known as Gen S. This is the first time we're announcing that.
Gen S.
It's the Gen S.
That's a good name, man. It's
a
good name, yeah.
Because everyone's calling me Gen X, but this is Gen S.
And then the S stands for socks or
swing.
Swing.
That's right.
What?
Right. Although we're not really a swing band.
Seaweed.
Seaweed. I do like seaweed.
But it's gonna swing though.
Yeah. We're gonna get to some swing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Greg Hutchinson and Ruben Rogers and myself have played together for many years. I mean, I first met Greg when we were, 16. Like, actually, the second day I was in New York City, when I was 16 years old, I met Greg, and he's been like just a fixture in my life as a friend and playing partner. And he's just somebody whose music I respect, as much, if not more than anybody.
I think it's safe to say he's one of the greats.
He's
at this
one
point.
of the greats.
Yeah.
And it's fun to kind of know and play with over the years. One of the greats. Ruben Rogers, the same thing. And so we definitely have like a hookup. But I thought it would be fun to bring in and like, I didn't want to do like the typical trio thing. I love quartet.
Yeah.
Sue me. I love a great quartet with saxophone, piano, bass, and drums.
You're a supportive guy.
I'm a supportive guy, but I just love all the different possibilities. I love trio too, of course.
Yeah. It's a different vibe though. It's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different vibe. And I always feel like when you do have a long-standing rhythm section or trio, like what can you do to kind of change things? It can be the music, it can be the personnel, it can be the shirts, it can be a lot of things. But I think that I might have hit on, knock on wood, a nice little augmentation of some slightly older heads that have been doing their thing with somebody new and fresh, but also just a different kind of format,
And the different kind of format is kind of special. So you're going to be recording this album live, no stops.
No stops.
No edits, no punch-ins.
Right. No
And
edits. Yeah.
And you were doing it on, what's the date you're doing it?
September 7th.
September 7th, live, and
We're going to live stream it also.
we're going to live stream it on Open Studio
Yeah.
so like the world can watch.
That's right.
The tightrope walk. Here's the thing though. This is what I love about this is it's really not a tightrope walk for you guys because you're all
Well, how
so
do we know?
good.
We haven't done it yet.
But I mean, the risk is still there. The danger
Right.
and the feeling of this is a live thing. This is why jazz and all improvised music is best consumed live and in person because there is a feeling in the room when it could all, like, what could happen? Nobody
Right.
knows. And there's no going back to fix anything. And I love that you're actually committing to that for an album. It feels right. It feels right.
Well, this is the way I look at it. I think, yeah, you put it together right. I mean, for me, when I'm going to hear music, really any kind of music, but especially jazz, this is something that we excel at. We don't excel at everything. You know what I mean? There's certain things that jazz musicians...
Marketing.
Right.
Not
right,
great. Not great at marketing.
Right. I mean, we can't be great at everything. We don't need to be.
Dancing.
We
Often not great at dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Most Monk was pretty good, but outside of that. But what can we do that is really interesting?
Merch. We're not great at merch.
We're not
Sorry.
great at- Our merch is bad.
I have so
Black
many-
shirt with like one,
Yeah. Yeah.
But playing in the moment, creating something, is something that we're known for and is super interesting. I know as a listener and as a player, it's just fun.
Yeah.
And I think that when I go to hear music, how the story is going to unfold is such a cool thing. So like even if you're playing, and actually this is going to be all new compositions. So that's going to be, I think, interesting and hopefully really good too. We'll see. But even whether it's a standard or a jazz standard or a new composition, there's an opportunity to tell a story that is a little bit different every performance. So like that's the whole point of being there live and creating something live.
So I'm glad you mentioned. So these are all new tunes of
Yes.
yours. You're writing on tunes, which
Yes.
you're an amazing composer.
Yeah.
Can we get a sneak peek? Maybe at something.
Sure. I was about to be like, tune in September 7th.
No,
but
give us a little something. Give a little nugget, and maybe
Okay.
talk about like the process of writing and how, for the podcast listeners. I know you've been doing some stuff on Instagram.
Yes.
Like some
Yeah.
shorts on the process of writing, but maybe if you can give a little bit longer explanation of like, if you want to pick this one, I think you're going to play this thing here in
Yeah.
7, and maybe just talk about your thoughts behind that.
Yeah, I think for all these compositions, it's always sort of a distinct pleasure and luxury to be able to write for a specific event.
Yeah,
Be it a recording
totally.
session or a live performance. Like this is going to be both, and for a group of musicians because that the individuals.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing somewhere. I'm not guessing. I'm having to use my imagination in terms of how these different personalities are going to come together and what they're going to do with what I present to them. But I look at it as an opportunity to like, how do I come up with the minimum framework necessary to give the support, to give the direction, to give the foundation for the storytelling, but no more than that, so that these great players can put their little sparkle and fun. And more importantly, the interaction between us, like how can we become greater than the sum of these individual parts.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely an art to like, how do you write like that? And I don't always get it right, but I'm definitely thinking about that. So yes, I want to come up with like cool stuff and different grooves and things that are fun to play, fun for me to play, and that's what I really go off of, and that are hopefully fun for others to play. But also like, how do we set it up in a way that it's almost like a ramp? It's like, we talk about Risk. I came up in the 70s looking at Evel Knievel. Shout out to Gen Xers out there. But
That's
like,
a character, right?
Yeah,
there.
it's like he was a live streamer.
None of them, and they were risks because not all of them worked. Some
Right.
of them he fell very hard into a canyon.
Right. So if we fall down, it's not going to be like no physical danger. So this tune, and I think this is going to end up being first. I always kind of heard it that way. Starts with this. Is this called an obbligato? Would that make me sound fancy?
Obbligato? Ostinato.
Oh,
Right? Like, I don't know. I don't speak Italian.
do you speak music? So it's that kind of repeated thing. That's obbligato. Ostinato. whatever.
Ostinato. Yeah.
So, and what I did was just like, I really, it's just like you have one idea that you want to use for a tune, and this is kind of based around as much that melody down there in the root, but like immediately jumping down to the third, and then all this is C minor pentatonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And And it used to be when I was younger, I'd write stuff, and it was if I found out it was like all pentatonic, or I was like, I got to make that fancier. That's too basic. But now
you're embracing it. But
yeah,
for this, so where this sings though is you do introduce an A natural.
Yeah.
So this is F minor, but then everything else, or F major,
yeah.
but everything else is in that sort of A flat major or F minor sound, right? That parallel minor, or I like to think of it, I think as you do too, is like we're in A flat major, really.
Right.
F Aeolian, which is just A flat major. And for me, I think about that in terms of the relationships. But here's where that the C minor pentatonic, it works over both major and minor.
Right. Which I didn't realize.
Yeah. So, but that's what's so cool about it. You could use C minor pentatonic over F major and F minor, or F major, or dominant, or whatever. So that's what I mean. It's not just like a pentatonic melody and you're in E flat. It's not that at all, or even C minor, which is fine. But all of this is over C minor pentatonic over like F major and F minor. It's cool. Different.
Right. Yeah, and I love stuff that can like move around a lot, but that you can play one thing over it. You don't have to, like, especially when the rhythm is a little bit complex. Like this is kind of I didn't realize it as I was writing it, but I was like, oh shit, this is another.
Is it
one
in
of those
7?
Damn 7.
Do you have any hits in 7?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of hear it like that, but it's. I mean, trust me, it's not from a like. I wrote a tune years ago called La Pregunta.
La Pregunta.
And I was convinced this was not in. Actually, wait.
Hold on.
Is that some?
Keep going. It's in 6, right?
Is it 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, it is.
1, 2,
Oh, the
3, 4,
bridge,
5,
I think.
6, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, that's an old tune, man. Why are we talking about that?
Why are we talking about?
No, I thought that was in 7.
But you're not. But I think the
Was it?
key to this, and I think this is very good for all of our budding composers out there, is you're not like strategically.
You're not planning that first.
Yeah, you're not strategically like, and then the bridge is going to go to 7, and I'm going to go back to a big 6.
No.
Which I think that's the 6 you were playing is like it's something.
That's a big 6. Yeah.
It's a big 6, but that's probably a 12/8 or even like it's something interesting that's like. Because you're breaking it up somewhere half in the bar. Any drummers or people who are more rhythmically literate than
Anybody
I am
that can count better than us.
Let us know. Play it again. Play the old tune again. Yeah, it's like 4 and 2.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
that's right. 1,
it's like
2,
2.
3. Yeah, it's 6. It's a 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's 6/4. 6/4.
But like the way you're feeling is. Let's not get into this.
But I mean, just stuff in general. So from a harmonic standpoint, but also from a rhythmic standpoint, like how do you make something that like has some handcuffs, but you kind of free it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that is the idea on this. And then when the melody comes in, so this continues this obligato/ostinato.
I'm trying to learn it.
And then the bridge goes to some other place.
Where's the bridge go? Where's the first chord?
I can't remember. No, it's so this is this Mu?
It is
G major, but it's G major 9 over B.
Yeah, that's the Open Studio Mu. Yeah, with the major 7. The major 7. No, that's the Mu, Open Studio Mu. The Open Studio Mu would be without the major 7, with the major 7.
Yeah.
You know what we called it, Peter? Do you remember?
Shmoo. The shmoo. What is it? Oh, the meow.
The meow.
Oh, so I think it goes next to a real mew.
It's really, you could call that a B minor flat 6 too if you wanted to.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Some people call it that, but
Yeah, but it's just not all the music is as complicated. Like this one, and this one, I don't think is actually going to be as hard for the player. I mean, we'll see. We're gonna have some great time to rehearse for this, which is a super big luxury. And I want to full disclosure is this is not like we're showing up. We've never played together. We're gonna record a record. We're gonna have the luxury of some great, just like hanging and playing, hanging with the music, hanging with each other.
Nice.
Really getting a chance to kind of craft things. You know, I've got a couple of ballads. I got some stuff in 3. I just kind of wrote stuff that I like, and I'm at a place where I'm really excited because it's like I wouldn't say it's no judgment that I have on myself, but it's the least I've had in my whole life.
It's a good feeling.
Like as I'm writing, like I don't care if it is a tricky time or if it's not. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And like I like if it's fun and interesting to me, if it feels good.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes.
It is good. Yeah. If you love it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And I mean,
and
if people love it
to
too,
your
that
audience.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And if they hate it, then I'll try to do better next time. But the idea is like I am confident with this. That it is what I'm trying to do is like create music that feels good as the entertaining. I'm not trying to change the world with the music, but I know that if people are feeling good engaging with music and other artists are doing that, that does change the world. Like I'm just trying to serve in this one way. And so the idea about doing it live and inviting, and this is gonna be on Open Studio's YouTube channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, September 7th, Thursday. The reason we're inviting everybody in to watch this is because not only do we want to have the energy, like there were a live audience there, but we can expand that to everybody in their living rooms or wherever they are.
I wonder if you could talk about, because it has been a while since you've put out an album as a leader. And this process, I mean, there's a lot going on. This is a specifically big project.
Yeah, because we're doing video. It's the album and it's the video.
We're flying musicians in from all over the world. There's
on
a lot
aeroplanes.
On aeroplanes. And there's a lot of logistics. And you have, of course, we have Open Studio here to help present. And it's going to be streamed. And then videos are going to be produced or whatever. But I love that it's a big scope project. But I wonder if you could talk about the importance, even not on this grand of a scale, but because it's been so long since you've made a record.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're making a record because I know for me, like there's no better stress test of what I'm working on and what I'm doing, not just musically, but professionally and personally, than can I put something out in the world that is, there's a lot of problems to be solved musically, financially, whatever it is. And I wonder if you could talk about how you're feeling after working on it for a while and like how that, is that important to you? Like this feeling of releasing something?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot how important it is. If I'd remembered, I would be doing it every year.
Yeah.
It is a lot to do it now, especially with everything else that's going on that we're trying to do here. But I
bring it up because I kind of made that my goal to do something every year.
Yeah, and you've been really good about it. I mean, probably not as good as you think, but like, when you had your trio, you were doing, I remember one time we were super busy and you're like, I'm going to come in here in the evening. We're just going to do a trio album.
Yeah, because I want to keep something moving forward always.
I think it's important. And I think it's important for like the listeners and the fans and the community more than we realize sometimes. Like, because we're putting so much content out, but at a certain time, like it's such a great marker to be like, this is an album. Even if nobody gets the CD or the LP or if they consume it streaming, I don't really care where they get it. But the fact that we're saying this is a set of music. This is a moment in time when we are, and that's why I wanted to do it live, and that's why I wanted to do it in one take, because I'm at that place where I know we can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Now, could we make it a more polished thing if we all went to isolated rooms and maybe improve the sound? I mean, and I think the sound is going to be killing on this, and the video is adding a whole other element. The video is going to be a
huge element, and I think the live part is important for that.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm more interested in not the perfection that we achieved that I think most people wouldn't even, that's more like of a selfish thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes like to sit there and to tweak everything. That's more for your ego. I don't think the listener matters that much.
No.
It doesn't matter that much.
And actually I don't like perfect sounding music.
Right.
In some of our favorite recordings, there's loads of things that weren't planned and you would probably take out if you could.
And I mean, I've been on a lot of sessions over the years in the studio.
Yeah.
Where we do multiple takes, but the first take, I can't remember a time that the first actual complete take wasn't the best take.
And usually it has...
And they sometimes don't use them, and maybe the later one was a little more perfect, but it doesn't have that energy.
I know.
It doesn't have that vibe.
The energy of the first take is always the one, even with the mistakes, which are inevitable, and probably, by the way, in the perfect take too.
Yeah.
But the more perfect you try to make it, the less juice you lose from those like things that could happen and that risk that's involved.
And I think by perfect, we're not talking, let's just be clear, we're not talking about like things fall apart, the beat gets turned over, somebody gets lost or whatever.
No.
This is like, we're talking about the music, and you are I do feel like there's a certain level of professionalism where, barring the power going out or like there being an earthquake or something, that we should and are able to execute on something no matter what. Now, will you look back on it and be like what I'm hoping to look back on it and not be like, oh, I could have done this, or be like, wow, that's what happened in that moment. That's what we're trying to do. That's what happened that evening with those people watching, with those musicians in the studio, and we captured it, and I'm good with that.
September 7th, live on Open Studios YouTube. Do not miss it. We're going to have an early show for our European folks.
Oh, that's right.
And a late show for our North American, South American folks.
Right. Go to Open Studio YouTube. And until then,
let's go out. You'll hear it.
1, 2, 3.